Hello and welcome back to my second interview this week. I have my dear friend Maryella with us today, and I want to tell you like a quick story on how we met. So we are both in Rachel Peterson's mastermind together, and her husband joined the mastermind. I want to say, was it 2 years ago?
Almost.
Okay. So anyhow, Ty, her husband, reached out to me in Messenger and was asking me questions about the mastermind. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. Like, who is this guy? Like, who is he? I'm not answering any more of his questions. These are all my friends and I am protecting them. And so I messaged Rachel and I'm like, some guy named Ty is asking about the click, and I don't know if it's a real thing or not. And she was like, please, he is real. Tell him the truth. Tell him exactly how you feel. It's fine. And then I had to go back to my messenger and be like, listen, dude, I'm really sorry, but I'm super protective over my friends. So I think he knew like the kind of thing he was getting himself into at that point. But anyhow, with Ty came the beautiful Maryella, and Maryella has not only become a friend, but she's also one of my visible inner circle members. So Maryella, I'm going to give you the floor and let you introduce yourself.
Thank you. So my name is Maryella Begley. On here, I show up as Maryella Begley Garman, which is my husband's last name. So I am a full-time engineer and a part-time entrepreneur, if there's such a thing. So my particular niche in entrepreneurship is health and wellness. Most of the time, my husband and I do have a social media management company that focuses on stormwater, which is closer to my engineering background. And so there are times where I help out with that. So that's who I am. So health and wellness is something that has always been very important to me. There were some things that happened when I was growing up, medical issues within my family. And so because of those happening when I was so very young, it prompted me to be more proactive in my own life, to make choices so that I can be here for, while my kids were growing up and to watch my grandkids grow up. And through those choices I made for myself, I found products that I was passionate about, and I was able to sign up to distribute those products. And so that's where that side came in, because it is very different from the engineering side.
I love it. I love it. And your engineering job is a full-time job, right? It's 40 hours a
Yes.
week.
It's more than 40 hours a week, but yes,
Okay.
it is.
So how are you fitting in a side hustle with a full-time job?
So there are several things that I do. One in particular is power pockets, is what I like to call them. So I like to have a list of activities that if something happens and I have 5 minutes, I have 10 minutes, I have 15 minutes, or if I have 30 minutes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like if I have meetings that finish early, if I have just these little bits of time throughout my day, I have a list of activities that I can go to. Do I have TikToks ready that I can post? Do I have content that I can schedule? Do I have people that I need to send something to that I can create that mailing list and drop something in the mail? So it's keeping a running list of activities that I can do in those power pockets. So I've got notes just because I get lost.
You're good.
So power pockets is one thing. Also multitasking, and multitasking is hard because if we have two things that are distracting us, we can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have what I call mindless activities, I like to send cards to customers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have to think to stuff a card into an envelope. So if I'm in an hour-long meeting and I'm sitting here because I am working from home for my day job, I can stuff envelopes while I'm in another meeting. And that's not distracting from what I need to do for my day job. And
Right.
it's getting a task accomplished. So keeping those kinds of activities ready so that if that comes up, I know that I can do that. Um, so one thing that I do is I keep a paper calendar. I mean, I have obviously my work calendar is online, but keep a paper calendar also where I write down all of my meetings every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I write out tasks beside them. I divide my day in half and I write out tasks beside them so that I know in this meeting I have the ability to do something and these are potential tasks that I can do. So other things is setting aside a little bit of time either in the morning, in the evening. I know you call it VEO time. Some other people call it CEO time, but just time to work on my business. Plan out what I want to do, to the future, do the actual work of running the business, and take a little bit of time throughout the week where that time is set aside, where it's not taken away from family, it's not taken away from work, but I can make a plan for what I want to do with my business. And then, let's see. Also, aside from the actual planning the business, finding time in my day, usually in the evenings for this, honestly, because that's when it's best for me to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to do some content creation, if I want to record some videos, or if I want to schedule post and set up specific times and make it an appointment, just like if it was part of my work day for my day job, set it on my calendar. Okay, this 30 minutes is dedicated to doing this task. I love having a time cube
I
so that I
remember
can
that.
actually, yeah. And
Can
like,
you tell my audience what that is? Because I don't know everybody knows.
okay, so this is a time cube, and you can see it's got different times on it, and it's just a timer. You turn it on, it beeps, and then so I have 30 minutes on the top. It's going for 30 minutes. And that way I can give myself, okay, this is a dedicated amount of time. And I know when this timer goes off that I'm done, or I can choose to reset it and keep going. But it's just a really easy way to kind of schedule myself and keep myself on task so that I don't have a million things running through my head that I need to do.
I think sometimes when we set a timer on our phone too, what
Mm-hmm.
happens? We see notifications and then we get distracted. So it's like that is so cool because there's that not added distraction there.
Yeah. Anytime I pick my phone up, I see a whole bunch of stuff come through and I'm like, oh, well, that's not what I'm doing right now. I don't need to attend to that stuff.
Right.
So I need to not look at my phone.
Love that. Love that. So as someone who has a full-time job and you love your full-time job, why do you think it's important for women, especially, to have that extra side hustle as well?
Um, so there's a lot of reasons. For me personally, like I said, I'm an engineer. The stereotype about engineers we are extreme introverts, which is very true. And I know you can relate to that,
Mm-hmm.
not as an engineer, but as an introvert. So it pushes me out of my comfort zone a lot. Um, it also helps me explore a different part of myself. I use a different part of my personality, a different part of my brain, doing this business than what I do in my day-to-day job. Um, and so also, in addition to that, it introduced me to a different community of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes we get really isolated as wives, as mothers, and I raised my kids as a single mom while they were teenagers. And that's very isolating because doing my job and then being a mom, and there was no time left in the day for anything. So it gives you an opportunity to meet people you would not have met otherwise, to interact, to have community, to have people to reach out to when stuff is going on, hive mind, get ideas, and not just about whatever your side hustle is, but about life.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, the financial benefits, because A friend of mine put it, you know, you build your plan B while you have your plan A, and you never expect it to be something you necessarily need, but you never know what's going to happen with plan A. There's no guarantees. Um, one of my mentors, so this is not my story, this is her story, but one of my mentors when I first started, um, she and her husband had owned a home healthcare business. And she started to have money to shop, selling supplements, slinging supplements. And that was right as Obamacare became law, which effectively killed their business. So her husband had just told her, whatever you make, that's your play money. And he didn't know how much she was making. And their bills were about $10,000 a month. And he came to her and said, we're going to have to sell the house. We're going to have to sell everything. And she's like, wait, this is what I've been doing. This is my play money. And she was able to save their house. They didn't have to sell anything.
That's amazing. And I think too, even with like the pandemic, 2020, like a lot of people thought because they had a 9 to 5 that they were safe. And that we saw that that wasn't necessarily the case. We saw, people who own salons, right? They couldn't go in, but
Right.
we saw people who sell the nail strips, they were like thriving and doing well. We saw at home workouts were like going through the roof because gyms were closing. So it's not a bad idea to have it and have that extra safety net because
Right.
nothing is 100% sure in life.
And it also gives you the opportunity to say you want that play money. Like my friend, she likes Louis Vuitton and she wanted to buy expensive purses.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was able to do that. If you want to have a specific goal or something you're saving for that it doesn't fit in your normal budget,
Right.
it just gives you an opportunity to add on those extras. Or if you have charities you want to support. I actually have one friend who um, everything she makes through her, it's a multi-level marketing, everything she makes goes to support a charity she runs. So
I love
actually, I
that.
think I have two friends like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know some people like that too. And it's so crucial and important. And I think too, a lot of people don't, until I joined like network marketing and had that side hustle, I
Mhm.
didn't know that girls like actually liked hanging out with each other besides being catty.
Right.
Like I didn't know you could empower each other and not just be like nitpicky and all that. Like I never knew that was possible
Because
until I saw it with my own eyes. I didn't know that you could work on personal development and change your mindset. Like all of that. I think network marketing truly introduced me to all of that. So I would have never even been implementing all that in this business had I not learned it there.
right. At least my experience, you grow up in high school, you have all these little cliques of all the little popular people, and they're very catty. And I didn't have many close female friends, especially and being an engineer, which is a very male dominated
Right.
world. I mean, I didn't see that. So it was very definitely eye opening and a chance to make those female friendships and connections. And there are things you can't talk to guys about, you know?
Truth.
Uh, and also, what I found, so when Ty took me to the very first meeting I ever went to um, with Advocare nutritional supplements, which is a direct sales, it is no longer multi-level network marketing. It is just straight direct sales. But at the time it was. And it was this huge production. And we had just started dating. And I was listening to, and he looked over, I was taking notes on my phone. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, this is amazing leadership training that translates to my job. I
Mm-hmm.
can take all these things that I'm learning and implement that. And I never expected to see that.
Could you imagine how like 9 to 5s would be if they like mandatory, like made you go to like and do personal development? Like I feel like there would be so much more um like growth and people empowering other people. I feel like businesses could be so much better if they did that.
Absolutely. And I know that we're encouraged to have personal development as part of one of our things that we have to do every year.
Yeah.
But it's not trying to figure out exactly how to say this. It's not true personal development. It's,
Mhm.
oh, did you look at our list of classes that we have and find something technical that you wanted to take? And that's not personal development.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll just write in, it's like, hey, I read all of these personal development books, and my leaders are like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I want to develop me.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So you have multiple side hustles. Do you want to talk a little bit about them and how you can support my viewers with those?
Yes. So as I mentioned, my niche is health and wellness. So I've already mentioned Advocare. So Advocare is a nutritional supplement company. I'm a vegetarian, and one of my struggles is making sure that I keep my protein levels high. Especially, I'm working with a trainer. She has set my macros at a pretty high level, and I'm struggling to hit that. Um, but so it's very important to me to have supplements that I trust. And so with anything that I decide to sell, it's going to be something that I personally will use and I trust. So one thing that very much impressed me when I first learned about Advocare was everything is developed by a scientific and medical advisory board. All the products are third party tested um, before they're ever put on the market. And there have been times where something was found that was not right, and they pulled their best selling product off the market at one point and completely reformulated it because it had something in it that wasn't safe.
Yeah.
And so the integrity of the company was very important to me, and the integrity of the products. So that's the first one is Advocare. As I said, it's nutritional supplements. There's a whole bunch that I use personally. I use Spark, which is energy plus vitamins every morning.
I
It's
had some this morning before I went to the gym.
yay. So it's I love coffee. Coffee is a comfort food to me, but I can curl up and go to sleep with a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Spark has the caffeine, but it also has all of my B vitamins. And when I drink it, it wakes me up and gets me going, and it's sustained energy and helps me focus. As I mentioned, I use their protein in several different forms. So I do shakes in the morning with extra protein. I have ready to drink protein if I need an extra boost throughout the day. And there's various other supplements. My favorites in particular that are not necessarily as commonly known. There's one called nighttime recovery. So if you work out or if you do a lot of yard work, which is what I've been doing recently, or rebuilding floors, whatever it is,
Yeah.
if you're using your muscles, if you're straining your muscles in ways that you don't usually do it, and the next day you're sore, nighttime recovery helps prevent some of that soreness and helps you be able to move the next day. And it is my hands down favorite product. The other one that is less known is called Glow. It's part of the Glow line. It's Glow Skin. Um, I'm trying to remember how to pronounce the ingredient. It's anazaxium.
I know what you're talking about.
So it's a supplement, and the particular one that's in the Advocare is from algae, so it is a vegetarian source. A lot of the time, it's from crustaceans, but it helps with sun sensitivity, and it also helps with your joints. So I'm showing up really red today, but I'm very pale as my natural complexion. And if I spend time in the sun, before I started taking it, if I was outside in direct sunlight for 5 minutes, I would be sunburnt.
Yeah.
And so it's helped with that a lot.
So fun fact on that, I didn't tell you this because we talked about this before, but I used to give it to my kids because they're both redhead. They sold that in a grocery store in Hawaii.
Nice.
Which I've never seen it in a grocery store. And I thought that was really interesting. And I was like, dang, that means that a lot of people here are taking that.
Yeah.
Or vacationers are taking that. So I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting. I've never seen it in a store.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah.
I've always ordered it online, but I also didn't know that Avocare had that. So make sure you tell me which one it is when we're done.
Okay. I will. I will. So that's one of the companies I represent. The other one is Zaya Active, which is active wear, active clothing. I love those. So I was working with a different trainer back in 2019. I was hitting the gym really hard, had really upped my workouts, and I was wearing lower quality activewear. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to up what I'm doing in the gym, I need to up my wardrobe that's supporting me
Mm-hmm.
to match that. And I had a friend who had just started selling Zaya. And so I reached out to her. So, and I skipped the step of trying the products. I reached out to her, I talked to her about it, and then I just signed up, which
Yeah.
is very out of character for me, but I like what the company stands for. And so in addition to liking the products, which I do, and I wear them every day, I like what the company stands for. And it's all family owned and wanting to bring high quality products that they're not at the lowest price point, but they're not the most expensive on the market either. So what I have found, one of the lines is called Light and Tights. Um, so the Light and Tight is a high compression material. It's used in leggings, shorts, as well as sports bras, and so it is. The higher compression gives you better support. I don't do a lot of cardio. I
Mm-hmm.
do weight training. And so if I am in the gym, I'm lifting heavy things, I need something that's supporting my muscles. And then after I finish in the gym, just the same as I like nighttime recovery, I like wearing light and tight leggings because they support my muscles after my workout and help keep me from hurting and help me keep moving throughout the day. So in 2020, March of 2020, when we all kind of came home, and I'm still working from home 2 years later. I so I had a love hate relationship with sports bras. A mostly hate relationship with sports bras before I started with Zaya, because if they were comfortable enough to wear, they did that uniboob thing where it was just
Yeah.
like a tube around you, and I hated the look. And if I got something that didn't look like that, then it wasn't comfortable to wear. Um, and so I started wearing the Zaya sports bras. I was very hesitant in the beginning to buy any because, like I said, I did not like sports bras. I would actually work out in my Victoria's Secret bras before that. Um, and these are comfortable. And so basically, I've stopped wearing anything else, and I don't see myself going back to regular bras when I have to go back to the office.
Yeah.
So these are mostly medium to high support that I wear, and they still have a nice shape.
Yeah. And I love the reason I love Zaya is obviously I wear them in the gym, but I also, you saw, I wear them on stage,
Yeah.
they're so versatile. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I love them so much. And like, I went and worked out this morning and I changed my shirt. And so now it's a little more casual, not workouty like it
Right.
was.
Yeah. I love that they can be transitioned from the gym to whatever you're doing. And I've got, you know, the pair that I'm wearing are really pretty, and I would definitely wear them out. I wouldn't necessarily wear them to the office, but I do have a lot that I can just put on a casual blouse and I could wear into the office. And so I like items that can transition like that because you're not spending extra to buy
Mhm.
multiple outfits for the same day. You can just transition what you have on.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. So we have leggings, we have supplements, and how can they get in touch with you if they're interested in finding out more about either one of these or becoming one of your downline, your team
Okay.
members?
So you can always reach out to me on social media. I am Maryella Begley Garman on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And my website is mariellabegley.com. So it goes to my link tree. It has links to everything that I do. And you can always message me either on Instagram or Facebook. I would love to hear from you. And I do go in and check if we're not actually friends and it goes in that filter. I do about once a week go in and check that to see if I have any messages.
I love that. I love that. So, what else would you like to share with my audience? I want to make sure you don't leave anything out because I know you were like really pumped about this.
So, if you're looking for a side hustle, if you're looking for something, figure out what works for you. What I do may not be your thing, but there are a million things, maybe exaggerating, may not, but there are all kinds of things available. So just find what you're passionate about and what works for you. And then look into how you can get involved with that. If you are no matter if you're doing a side hustle or if you just have a full-time job or full-time business that you run, make sure you take time for yourself. Make sure you take time to play. And I talk about finding power pockets and scheduling time in my day, but it's also important to make sure that you are not scheduling all of your time for work and you don't get burned out. Self-care is really important. Chrissy knows this. I have every other Friday off from my day job, and I set that aside for self-care. I go get my nails done. Every 4 weeks, I get my hair done. And every 2 weeks, I get a massage. I mean, I take that whole day and I just dedicate it to self-care. Let's see. Believe in what you do and share what you do with passion. Because if you don't believe in something, your audience is going to see that. And they're not going to trust you because you're not being authentic to yourself.
So good.
Don't count on your friends and family to be your support. Our friends and family love us. They're not necessarily going to support our business, and they may not support our dreams because they love us and care about us. They might look at us and think we're crazy. So
Sometimes.
don't lean on them for support. Find people who are doing what you want to do to form community, and find mentors. Chrissy mentioned that we're both in Rachel Peterson's mastermind and that I'm in her visible inner circle. It's so important to find a mentor who resonates with you, who can help you grow.
Yeah.
And finally, like, have grace with yourself, because we're all human. We're not going to be perfect all the time. We're not going to be on all the time. And so it's really important to not have that expectation of yourself that you're never going to make a mistake, because we are going to do it. And then you just pick up and you go back and you do the next thing.
I love that. Nancy just said, maybe because we are crazy, it's a good crazy. It is a good crazy.
Have you, Russell Branson uses this, but it's actually a Steve Jobs quote talking about the crazy ones. And yes. I don't have it in front of me. It's actually framed in Ty's office, but the crazy ones are the ones who will change the world because they believe they can do it.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing, right? We have to have that belief before it's going to happen. So I love that. I love that. Is that all your notes?
That's all my notes.
Okay. So my question is, what has visibility done for you and your side hustles?
So first of all, finding visible, and finding somebody I could relate to who could stand up and say, I'm an introvert. I was terrified to get on video, and now I do it. I needed the roadmap of somebody to follow. And that was the perfect fit. So it's enabled me to want to go on video, and I had started doing it some, but I wasn't consistent. So to be much more consistent with being on video, to expand to other platforms, because Facebook was kind of my safe space. And
Mm-hmm.
so to expand to other platforms and to be intentional about what message I want to put out there and how I want to do that.
I love that. I love that. And even though it was scary, you still got uncomfortable and did it.
I did.
And now you're
Because
on TikTok and Reels and everywhere.
and like my latest thing is I have joined Twitter. I have not tweeted yet. So I haven't I haven't figured out how to
Coming.
repurpose content and get it on Twitter, but it's coming.
Yeah. Sometimes I just put what I'm thinking on there, which it disappears so fast. It's not.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, is there anything else that you want to leave with my audience before we go?
So if you're interested in any of the things that I have talked about, if you're interested in supplements, if you're interested in activewear, I would be happy to talk to you about it. If you're interested in Visible, I would be happy to talk to you about it. And if you're interested in engineering or stormwater, happy to talk to you about that too.
You are so multifaceted. There's like so many layers of Maryella. Like, I think we could talk about even when we've been together, we've talked about so many different subjects. There's always something to talk about. So I think that's interesting. You totally should connect with Maryella because she's amazing. She's a beautiful person, and like I said, she just like wants to take care of you and help you. If you wanted to join, like I love Zaya, so I've joined because number one, hello, the discount, right? Like I
Right.
love the leggings. I am one of the people who told her that, I was getting like a really good deal at like TJ Maxx, but they were fraying and they were falling apart about after my 8th, 10th workout. And it was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. I'm literally gonna have to throw them away because they're embarrassing to wear. I look like I got them at Goodwill and I didn't. I bought them brand new. So it was like, okay, let's just think about this a second. And so it just makes sense to invest. And even my 15-year-old loves the leggings. So if you love leggings and you want more of a compression, or you want some pretty cool designs, and you like fun things, totally reach out to her for that because they are super cool. And like I said, they're so versatile. It just makes sense to like wear them everywhere. All right. Make sure you connect with Maryella. If you have questions, drop them. Maryella, I'll tag her. So she'll come back in and answer them. She's here to support you. Your website, it's Maryella Begley, right?
MaryellaBegley.com.
I'm dropping it in the chat so you guys have it. And then I'll put it in the description too. So everybody has it as well. So yes, MaryellaBegley.com. It's in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing with my audience about how you can work a full-time job, have side hustles. Love every minute of it. Find the time to do it, and why we all need that extra thing in our life. So I appreciate you so much. Make sure you reach out to Maryella. She has so many ways to support you in your health and fitness. And yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for
All
having
right.
me.
Bye.